It's time for market awareness made fun and simple in this incredible, entertaining, action-packed... sorry. Wait a moment. Market awareness is not very fun. I tried, alright guys, dang it, I tried. But it's not a really sexy concept. However, I can make it simple and I can make it easy to understand. And it is important to understand, that's why we're covering it. So, what is market awareness? Well, it's a way of defining how aware someone is of their problem and your product. It's another concept that Gene Schwartz came up with in Breakthrough Advertising. That's why that book is so famous. And he broke it down into 5 stages or levels of awareness. And people go through them as they go on a journey to discover their problem and eventually your product and that it solves their problem. And so here's how it works. They start unaware. That's when they don't know at all that they have a problem. They might notice like the effects of the problem in their life, like they might notice pains, but they don't know they have arthritis, for example, or they might, get annoyed that their gutter keeps overflowing, or that water keeps ending up outside their gutters, but they don't know that their gutter's blocked. Something like that. Then they might realize they have a problem. They become problem aware. That's when they've just realized that. Then they will discover that there are solutions for a problem. Oh, you can get guards for your gutter. Oh, there are medicines that treat arthritis. Whatever. They're solution aware. Then, if they learn of your product, they become product aware. That's when they know that your product is one of the solutions out there. But they're not yet convinced it's right for them. They know of it like a phone user who uses Android and hates how hard it is to use. They might know that iPhones are a thing, but they're not convinced that it's going to make their life easier, for example. And then you have most aware. That's when someone knows about your product, they want it, and they're ready to see an offer. All you need to do is present them an opportunity to buy. Now, these are the traditional 5 levels. Actually, I've tweaked them a little bit, I think. These aren't exactly how Gene Schwartz puts them in Breakthrough Advertising. So you can go read that book if you want, or you can Google this. It's a very well-known copywriting concept. But don't get too hung up on these 5 exact labels. Some people only use 4 or 3, so don't freak out about memorizing them unless you want to sound smart, and you can sound smart by knowing them. But it's just important to know that it's a spectrum. That's the point, that people move from unaware, then they learn about their problem, they learn about the product, and then they want to buy it. Now, you might notice this process is kind of similar to that journey to this moment concept that I was talking about before. But in the journey to this moment that I defined in a previous video, people generally pass through one or more stages on their journey. So they discover they have the problem and then they find out about the business. So that was my 5 years ago, 5 weeks ago, 5 seconds ago thing. That when did they find out they have a problem? Then when did they come into contact with your business and sign up for your email list or try your first product or whatever? So the point, though, of the journey to this moment is to really understand someone's story. But market awareness is just about knowing where are they now and what do they know about the problem and about the product. Let me illustrate this for you in an easier way. Google search terms. They're a really easy way to illustrate this. And let's take a home security company, for example. So an unaware person might Google, is it normal for my jewelry to be missing? I'm kidding there. You wouldn't really Google that, but that's an example, right, of not knowing you have a problem. Then you realize you have a problem. What to do when burglars target your house. And again, I'm being a bit silly here. Something else that's actually problem aware might be how to protect your house from burglars. So you don't necessarily need to have been burgled. You just realize your house is unprotected. That's problem aware. Then you realize, oh, there's a thing called alarm systems. So people who are Googling home alarm systems Perth, I might Google that, I live in Perth. So that's a solution aware keyword. Someone who's searching for that is solution aware. They know that alarm systems are out there. They might not know about your alarm system company. That's next. Product aware, okay? They discover that your company, Super Safe Security, is an alarm system company. But they're not convinced that you are the right one for them yet. So someone who's Googling for company or product reviews is product aware. They know about you, but they're not yet convinced that you're right for them. And then when they're convinced, they become most aware, and that's when they're just Googling your alarm package price. Super Safe Security alarm package price would be a most aware search keyword because They're ready to buy. They just want to see the price. So it doesn't have to be broken down into the exact 5 stages, but you can see the point is that people move through it. Now, why is it important to know this? Why care about someone's awareness level? Well, it is important because apart from being a copy snob who can impress your client by knowing the terminology, and that is important, the real reason is that knowing market awareness of who you're writing to lets you start your sales argument from the right place. Let me show you using another example this time, selling mints for bad breath. Here's how we might approach headlines for our copy based on the awareness level of our prospect. Someone unaware, we might write this: are all your friends starting to avoid you? In other words, these people don't even know they have bad breath. They just notice the symptoms of it, maybe. My friends avoid me. They stand back from me. So an unaware headline, by the way, it's very rare that you'd have to do this because it's very hard to convince an unaware prospect. So it's very rare, but in theory, it would be something like this. Are all your friends starting to avoid you? They don't know they got bad breath. They don't know they need mints to do it. They just know that this thing happens in their life. Well, then they become problem aware. They realize they've got bad breath. So a problem aware headline would be suffering from bad breath. Read this. It may not be the best headline, but I'm just illustrating it for you. Then they become solution aware. They realize that there are mints out there, but they don't know about your mints. So the solution aware headline will tell them about that. Introducing fresh breath mints, the best way to stop bad breath. Next, we're assuming that someone knows about your fresh breath mints, but they're not convinced it's right for them. So a product aware headline starts to convince them. So it assumes that you know who they are, who the product is, how fresh breath mint's secret ingredient kills the bacteria that cause bad breath. So it assumes someone knows what the mints are, but they don't know about a certain feature of the product, for example. That's a product aware headline you might run. And then finally, a most aware headline would just be telling someone where they can buy it. Fresh breath mints, now for just $1.99. Now, these aren't all the best headlines, again, but you can see the point is that you are meeting people where they're at. And this actually ties into that famous copywriting quote. You should join the conversation already going on in the customer's head. If you start your pitch too early, someone will get bored that you're telling them what they already know. Like if you go to a car dealership and ask to test drive a car because you're ready to buy it, how dumb would it be if the salesman came up to you and he's like, before we go on the test drive, let me tell you 3 reasons you might need a new car. You're like, dude, I'm here to test drive the car. Well, I know I need a new car. That would be stupid, right? Or a flip side of the same thing, if the car salesman rocks up to your house when you are not even thinking about a new car and he's like, hands you the keys on the contract, he's like, would you like to sign here for this Toyota Corolla for $19,990? You'd be like, go away, slam the door in his face, because you are not thinking of a car. This is the point. You have to match someone exactly where they're at. That's why market awareness is so important. But here is an important point. Within any given market, you can have the whole spectrum of market awareness. You can have unaware, problem aware, and most aware all at the same time. You are always going to have some unaware people, some most aware people. Unlike market sophistication, there is not one level of market awareness that applies to the whole market. People are always moving through this spectrum. And every time someone reads information about their problem, a blog post about their medical condition, or they read some of your advertising, they move up the hierarchy. It's this constantly changing thing. So there are people out there right now who want to go to the Apple store today and buy an iPhone. And there are also people, Android users, who are considering moving for the first time. Now, both those people may end up buying an iPhone, but right now they're in different stages of awareness. This is important because you might be asking, well, how do I determine the awareness level of my market so that my copy can meet them where they're at? But that question doesn't really make sense. Awareness level is actually baked into who you show your copy to. Remember, there are people in this market right now at all stages of awareness. The question is, which ones are you targeting? Because remember, if you are writing copy and you just put it on the internet, no one's going to see it. Whenever you write copy, you have to have a way to get traffic to that copy. And how you define that traffic is what's going to determine the awareness level you should be writing for. Remember, if you just publish a blog post, no one's going to see it. So you need to target by what Google search terms are they using? Are we going to drive this with an ad or so on? So technically, in most cases, the market awareness is determined by you and who you are showing the copy to. If you're writing copy, your client must have a plan to get people onto that copy. What is that plan? Google search terms, Facebook ad targeting, a link from an email to an existing list. That's going to determine the market awareness you should be writing for. So in 99% of cases, it's baked in this way. A better question to ask is, what awareness level is this copy targeting? Not what awareness level does my market have? That's an unanswerable question. What awareness level is this copy targeting? Who is it meant to be written for? That will help this be clearer in your mind. Now, in the bonus section of this course, I do have a video that explains all this. I break down a sales letter that, a homepage that doesn't quite nail it with the market awareness. So go and check that out. It's in the bonus section of this course. It says market awareness in the title, and it will make all this quite clear for you. But for now, here are a few ways that you can work out the awareness level of the people that you're targeting. So first is to just ask your client, because they should know who they're selling to. So if you're running a Facebook ad selling a supplement to an audience of people who like the pages of other supplements, well, you can probably assume a solution-aware audience. They know of supplements, right? If you're driving traffic to a sales page from an email list, they're probably product aware if they're coming from your email list. Okay, 90% of the time, this is how I determine it. Sometimes it's just going to be baked into the offer. If it's a product that assumes people are beginners, if it is how to write copy for beginners, well, your copy should be targeting beginners or unaware people. Sometimes if you are writing to an existing customer list, well, no, every time you're writing to an existing customer list, you know they are at least solution aware because they're a customer list, right? They know about your brand. Another way is to ask buyers why they bought via surveys and what other competitors they've tried. And that can give you an insight into the kind of people who are buying the product and how aware they are at the time. Google search terms is an obvious one. Like I showed you before, looking at the Google search term someone used to land on your page, or the Google search term that you're running ads to, will automatically filter out what awareness level the traffic that lands on your page is going to be. You can look at what pages people like on Facebook. I mentioned this before. If you're targeting Facebook ads to someone, I'm pretty sure you can check out what other Facebook pages they like, and that should give you an idea. Now, I don't do this myself, so just a disclaimer, I've never done this, but I know in theory it's possible. I've never had to do it though. And finally, you can look at how your market talks on forums or Reddit, so on. Like, you know, people with anxiety might say, I have GAD, which is an acronym for generalized anxiety disorder. They might use acronyms or stuff. This isn't really a good method though, because again, you're not targeting every single person on a forum. You're actively targeting a certain group. So it's very rare that this is relevant, but this is one way that you could work out how aware someone is of something. Now, you know, I'm going to show you the how-to stuff more later in the course. Right now, we're just talking about what you need to know. One final thing. You might be wondering, how is this different to market sophistication? If you're not wondering that, fantastic. But if you are wondering, simple way to keep them clear, market awareness is about the prospect's journey to fully understanding their problem and the product. Market sophistication, which was the last video, is the market's journey towards using overused claims. That's the differentiation between these. Market awareness is individual by person and it's always changing. Market sophistication is a general statement about the whole market and what claims everyone in that market is using. And with that, we can wrap up that video. I'm sorry it wasn't as fun as possible, but hey, look, we are 4 out of 6 modules through our understanding the market section, which is our theoretical section. Next, we're going to have a look at our competition and what you need to know about the competition when you're writing copy.